How's it, Toucaniers? I'm Festus Mbuimwe, and I've applied to join Toucan as a potential account manager for East Africa. Thank you for giving me the chance to do a presentation regarding a potential client who'd be interested in buying the marketing communication solutions offered by Toucan. But before I begin, I'd like to say that as a copywriter by training, I've challenged your brief that said I had to do a PowerPoint presentation. Why? First, your email said there's fierce competition for this post. So if I also do a PowerPoint presentation like the rest of my competition, how will I stand out? Second, when I visited the website, I saw there are tons of videos there, led by one of your chief dishwasher, Douglas Ames. That proves that videos have a huge role to play in communications at Toucan. Third, there's a massive outbreak of death by PowerPoint in the world today. Audiences are switching off when PowerPoints are being presented. So why should I fuel the epidemic further by also adding another PowerPoint presentation? Thank you for understanding. I chose the 11th Parliament as Toucan's client because it's hugely unpopular with Kenyans at the moment. Why? It's because they have refused to accept the approximately 530,000 shillings per month salary proposed by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Instead, they are demanding the 850,000 shillings per month salary package enjoyed by the previous Parliament. The second reason the current Parliament is unpopular is because county reps have taken cue from parliamentarians and have also paralyzed county assemblies activities until the SRC raises their salaries from 79,000 shillings per month to I don't know what. This at a time when the newly elected Jubilee government is trying to cut back on the massive wage bill that consumes around half of the taxes collected by the Kenya Revenue Authority every year. So what are the political, economic, social, technological, and environmental factors facing Parliament? Politically, Kenyans are more aware of their rights and are willing to enforce them. For example, civil society activists recently dumped pigs and poured blood at Parliament's entrance to signify Kenya's displeasure with MP's greed. Second, economically, Kenya's economy is the biggest in the region, but you're facing stiff competition from our neighbors. For instance, it takes just a day to register a business in Rwanda. Have you tried to do so in Kenya? Good luck with that. Socially, Kenya is adding around 1 million new souls annually. They need to be fed, they need shelter, they need health, they need education, they need jobs, and so forth. Technologically, mobile phones and the internet have displaced analog facilities. For instance, the former Kenya Post and Telecommunications Corporation's phone booths are now potential museum pieces. Legally, just like political rights, Kenyans are more aware of their legal rights and are going to court to enforce them. For example, the High Court recently awarded Gitobu Manyara, the former MP of Imenti Central in Meru County, 15 million shillings in damages for the unlawful detention and torture he experienced under the former KANU regime. And finally, there is a growing realization that economic development plus environmental degradation is equal to economic annihilation. But despite our very best efforts, Kenya's forest cover only stands at 2% against the recommended 10% by UNEP. But internally, the 11th Parliament has a few strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats going for it. One strength the 2010 Constitution gave Parliament were the powers to vet senior public appointments and to scrutinize and reject or accept government expenditure estimates. For instance, parliamentarians have threatened to reject the proposed bill that will add VAT to basic foodstuffs such as milk, bread, flour, and so forth. However, one major weakness that Parliament suffers from is a lack of a communication strategy to counter the negative press it regularly receives, like the salaries fiasco, for instance. But that's where the opportunity lies, for Parliament to craft an effective communication strategy that shows the good work it's doing for Kenyans. But there's a threat, and that's in the form of the recent gagging of the media by evicting them from the media center ostensibly to create room for the many parliamentary committees that have no rooms to meet for meetings. Anyway, here are a few strengths, or rather here are a few tactics that Parliament can use to implement the communication strategy. But first, a short-term measure would be for Parliament or all the 430 parliamentarians to donate blood at the site where civil society dumped pigs and poured blood as Parliament entrance for them to donate the blood to the starved blood banks in Kenyan public hospitals. That move will buy them immediate PR miles. Okay, now for the long term. Bunge should immediately open Facebook, Twitter and YouTube accounts. True, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation aka KBC airs live proceedings for Parliament. But what happens after that? Social media takes over, and by the time Parliament resumes business the next day, the damage has already been done. That can't happen anymore. Why Facebook? According to the internetworldstats.com, Facebook has 2 million Kenyan users as of December 31st, 2012. Why Twitter? According to Portland Communications research, Kenyans generated 2 million tweets for the last 3 months of 2011. That shows Kenyans are heavy users of Twitter. And why YouTube? Since the arrival of the undersea cables such as Teams in 2009, bandwidth capacity has greatly increased, and that shows that YouTube videos can load more quickly. So it makes sense for Parliament to have its own YouTube channel. So what content will be posted on these platforms? For instance, on the VAT issue, Justin Muturi, the Parliament Speaker, can post a YouTube video saying there is no way Parliament will allow the government to introduce VAT on milk, bread, flour, and so forth. He can post this video on YouTube and then upload the links on Facebook and Twitter. Result: Kenyans will take notice and begin to think that there is hope for this Parliament after all. For let's face it, every politician, particularly a Kenyan one, wishes to be re-elected forever. Thank you for watching.